Wii Sports Resort is a great game. It makes for prime Gen Z nostalgia. Sure, it's aged incredibly well, and still certainly stands on its own 2 feet today, but for the early noughties kids, such as myself, it'll always be a nice trip down memory lane. And what is it that all old games seem to have these days? Actually, scratch that. Nearly every game ever made seems to have one these days. That's right, I'm talking about icebergs. They're a great way to relive the nostalgic strolls of the past. Learn new things about your favourite games which you played all day when you were 10 years of age. One thing I recently learned on an iceberg was the basket bike myth. Allegedly, after you reach pro status in cycling and hold down 1 while selecting your Mii, you can get the basket bike, otherwise only ridden by non-competing NPCs. They're delivering pizza while everyone else is practicing for the Tour de France. However, this trick, it doesn't work. Many have tried, all have failed, and yet the IGN guide for this game insists that you can ride that bike if you hold down 1.
So we're just going to talk about how you can unlock the basket bike in cycling mode after getting pro status. They all list the same thing about how to unlock the basket bike. The problem is, it's not real. I went and I got to pro status. I spent hours on this, and honestly, now I'm just really curious.
There's no basket bike footage online, and it's a weird thing to just make up. But it's not totally unfathomable either. Holding 1 after achieving pro mode in sword fighting unlocks a purple blade for your player, and you can get a whole host of other unlocks in different sports via similar means. Why wouldn't something similar work here? It begs the question, if the basket bike isn't real, where did the myth come from? Can we find out? Is it even worth bothering? Probably not. But I'm sure as hell gonna try anyway. So, when people talk about this myth, usually they refer to one of 2 sources perpetuating it. IGN or Wikipedia. IGN was, from what I can tell, the site that really boosted this claim into infamy. Their original cycling guide from 2012 claims that an unlocked basket bike either has a picture of pizza or some flowers on it, depending on your Mii's gender. Wikipedia, the Wii series wiki, goes a step further, saying that in other cases, the basket bike used the picture of the logo of one of the PBS member stations, depending on the Mii's gender, including the logo of WGBH. Wikipedia is, just like any other fandom page, edited by a very large number of people. This is obviously a bad riff off an already farcical, non-existent Easter egg. I doubt that Nintendo is hiding copyright infringement within their games, although that would make for quite an ironic incident. These were the sites the icebergs I watched referred to, and like I said, I couldn't help but think, why would someone make that up? So I dug deeper. By which I mean, I narrowed down my Google searches. The oldest webpage I found discussing the basket bike was a thread on GameFAQs posted of the day of the game's release in North America, July 26, 2009. Maristeagles asks, does getting 2,000 points in a sport do anything different? I know that pro status was all you could get in the first game, but I've heard you can get superstar status or something. Is this true? Dangles95 responds, yes it is. You can get to superstar if you have 2,000 skill points. And this later inspires another reply from Jop890. Superstar even allows you to do crazy things like ride a basket bike in cycling, wear double in sword fight, and more depending on the mode. Now, I should mention, I haven't brushed up in a while, I'm not a Wii Sports Resort expert. I'm a bit blown away by my initial findings, and I had somehow never heard of superstar status before, so I was skeptical about the claim, but superstar status does exist. It's just, obviously, very difficult to attain. Getting carried away in my premature research adrenaline rush, I didn't notice that Jop890 was late to the party on this one, as in this guy posted 11 years after the thread was made. All I had discovered was a record-breaking Necro poster, who also happened to be making stuff up. Needless to say, Jop's mention of the bike was far from the first. I would have to dig a little bit deeper to find something concrete. The earliest index mention of the basket bike I could find was posted in 2010 on a website called Cheat Code Central. Alongside other in-game secrets covered on the site, many of which are actually true, it contains an entry regarding the basket bike, a achieve pro class in cycling. Then while selecting your Mii, hold 1. There are 2 versions, depending on the gender of your Mii. If you look up this exact phrase though, you can see the myth had already been spread prior to 2010. User Dang Dave says the exact same thing on a forum post in September of 2009. Did CCC steal from Dang Dave? Maybe, but I wanted to know the exact date the basket bike myth debuted on CCC's website, so I got up the Internet Archive and scanned through captures of the site, of which there were surprisingly quite a few. I found the period in which it was added, sometime between the 4th and the 15th of August 2009, well before Dang Dave posted about it. Bingo. While we can't be 100% certain this site created the myth, given that it was published only 3 weeks after Resort's release in America, I'm fairly confident in saying that this is where the lie stemmed from. Later online entries give us rough ideas as to how the bike myth evolved. On March 25th, 2011, VG Charts user IOE reposts, among other things, a modified version of CCC's take. They specify which bike you'll get depending on what gender your Mii is. Once you've attained pro status in the cycling, you can hold down 1 when choosing Mii to use a basket bike. The basket bike either has a picture of pizza or some flowers on it depending on your Mii's gender. IGN would later pick this up and publish, verbatim, the exact same quote. Hilariously enough, this even includes the spelling mistakes found in the original post by IOE. High quality journalism there, guys. You really did some thorough research. So, what gives? Is that it for this trip? Kinda. Bit of an underwhelming research project this time around. CCC made the myth, other people perpetuated it on forums, which eventually led to VG Charts tricking IGN, who made a guide that unintentionally tricked a whole host of Wii Sports resorters. There was one other interesting development on Central's page though. When the basket bike myth was added, a strategy guide by Matthew Stevenson, also known as Ringworm, was put out on the page. Matthew had made a bit of a name for himself at that time, publishing strategy guides throughout the mid to late 2000s. This one he'd made specifically for CCC, and from what I can tell, he's been commissioned to make guides for other sites too. Maybe you can see what I'm getting at here. Matthew must be the bearer of great game knowledge to have established such a reputation. But I'm wondering, did he feed Central bogus info? Is he the one who helped update their page of secrets? Did he print the original myth? Only one way to confirm. Ask the man himself. Matthew lists his contact email on all of his strategy guides, but it was a long shot. I haven't been able to find a guide of his published after 2012. For a guy that's not been active in around 10 years, there's basically no chance of him responding to my query. Well, dear viewer, I have quite the surprise for you. Lo and behold, he responded! In under 24 hours, no less. However, he disproved my theory. Actually, he forgot about writing the guide entirely, and he didn't submit it to Cheat Code Central. The site was apparently notorious for posting up his guides without asking. That pretty much wiped Matthew out of the picture. No direct interaction with CCC means he certainly didn't create the myth. Blatant plagiarism in video game journalism was now becoming a worrisome theme in my investigation. I had a couple of other people in the crosshairs. The first was Maria Montoro, director of CCC at the time, and also reviewer of Wii Sports Resort for CCC itself. Huge long shot there though. I found like 3 or 4 of her emails and I have no idea which are still active. Regardless, she's probably forgotten about a bike myth in a now 13-year-old game. I sent her a message. Alas, no response. Next up was Nathan Muner, a regular site contributor on CCC, credited with writing the preview for Wii Sports Resort a year earlier. As the only other name even vaguely associated with the page itself, I gave it a go, but again, all quiet. Having given these guys a fair chunk of time to respond, I turned my attention to the current administration at CCC and decided to email them. It was actually in their best interest to respond to, or at least acknowledge my email, as they themselves want to hear about any bogus info on the site to remove it. Maybe it's too late to undo the damage to IGN's reputation, but still. I decided to go straight to the top dog, Dave Allison, CEO of Cheat Code Central. I sent him an email and waited. Nothing. In the meantime, I wanted to find Aoi, who played a key part in transforming the myth on VG charts. And after some digging, it turns out Aoi, real name Brett Walton, actually owns the whole site. He runs VG charts. He actually left his job at McLaren, after studying at Cambridge no less, to run VG charts. His email was listed on the site, so I fired one off to him. Can you guess what happened? No response. This result was kind of a shame, and I'm not totally happy with the outcome. I really wanted to figure out the exact origin of this myth. For now, I feel I've gotten close enough. Cheat Code Central posted the original, although who wrote it exactly remains a mystery. Before Brett Walton evolved it into the one broadly circulated today, IGN picked that up, or rather, literally plagiarized and stole it. Then it showed up on some icebergs, and that's why we've all heard about it today. So there you have it, a pointless journey through old web forums and cheat code sites just to show you where fake feature might have originated from. Fun trip, right? No? Wasn't? If nothing else, this journey at least reveals some of the lazy and blatant plagiarism practiced by video game journalists in the 2010s. With a reputation as one of the go-to places to hear all about video games, new and old, you'd think IGN has a bit more of a quality standard in place. But no, instead they've wasted everyone's time as we all try to unlock a myth they've never even bothered to spell check, let alone fact check. If you want to try and figure out where this strange idea might have come from, feel free to pick up on my leads and search again. If enough people email CCC, I'm sure we'll get some sort of response. Or feel free to try and unlock the basket bike for yourself. Maybe Jop890 is right and we just need to achieve superstar status. In the meantime, I'll be playing the much superior Island Flyover. For now, I hope you enjoyed this tale, and I hope you come back for more. See you soon.